I like mine super stirred. The name's The Organizer. Pan TheOrganizer. Huh? No? Huh. Hey, what's up guys? Welcome to another episode of Pan TheOrganizer. So today we're taking care of this beautiful Aston Martin Vantage. Nice supercar, but it's dirty. The wheels, of course, have caked on brake dust. The paintwork has a bunch of swirl marks, scratches, and water spotting. The roof has faded a bit. We're gonna have to restore that. There's some handprints on the paint. I don't know where that comes from, but the vehicle is driven and enjoyed by the owner. Hopefully you can tell inside as well. It's dirty. It's not that bad, but of course all the surfaces will be addressed and taken care of, clean, enhanced, and protected. I'm going to leave the links to all the tools, equipment, and products used in the video. I'm going to put those in the description under the video for you guys to check them out. So all you have to do is sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. So let's start with the first order of business. I'm going to remove the rubber floor mats. I like to start with those to take care of them by cleaning them. And give them time to fully dry and all that kind of stuff. So pressure rinse your floor mats off. That removes the majority of the loose dirt and debris. I'm going to spray an all-purpose cleaner, in this case Koshemi Green Star diluted 1:5 in a spray bottle. I'm going to use a brush to thoroughly brush the carpets. This is going to degrease them, remove all the dirt and grime, thoroughly rinse them. So the next order of business is to dry them. I'm using the Metrovac Air Force Blaster Sidekick. It's a portable car dryer that is perfect for these kinds of little jobs. So it gets the job done right and very quickly. It's filtered hot, warm air, by the way. Next, I'm using the Koshemi Gummy Fix. So it's a rubber mat rejuvenator. You basically spray this on. You can use either a microfiber towel or a foam applicator block. It flashes very quickly because there's a bit of isopropyl alcohol inside there. Don't worry, it's not going to dry out the mats. And by the way, I'm going to have a full tutorial on how to clean and restore or rejuvenate rubber mats. So check that out on the channel. Next, we're going to foam the vehicle. I'm using Koshemi Super Foam in this case. It's a pH 12 snow foam. So on the alkaline side for heavy degreasing, we're going to break down a cheap wax that was applied by the dealership on delivery. As you're going to see later on, they did a horrible job. There was like a bunch of caked on wax in the cracks and seams that I had to remove. So basically the snow foam is part of the pre-wash stage. It's going to dwell on the surface, going to start breaking down the loose dirt and debris so we can safely rinse that off before the contact wash to minimize the chances of swirls and scratches. So you can see we're going to let that dwell on the surface for 3 to 5 minutes. I work in a controlled environment at 20 degrees Celsius or 68 degrees Fahrenheit with humidity at 40 to 45%. So yeah, it gives me a lot of working time. Never apply snow foams in direct sunlight. At least don't let them dry on the surface, especially these alkaline snow foams. So it's going to start to break down also any previous protection that might be on there, because we're going to be applying a full-blown ceramic coating, a professional grade coating on this vehicle, as you're going to see later on. So we got to make sure that there's no protection left on the surface, which we're going to address with machine polishing later on. So that's going to ensure 100% removal of any previous protection, but these snow foams start the breaking down process to help you out. Next, wheels and tires is what I like to do before washing the paintwork. So I spray the Turtle Wax Hyper Foam wheel cleaner and tire prep. It's an alkaline wheel cleaner and tire prep. So I'm using a stiff nylon brush for the tire sidewalls. I'm using the Easy Detail brush to go inside the wheel barrels to clean inside there, to go behind those big brake calipers, by the way, as well. And next, I'm going to use a boar hair brush for the wheel faces. These are matte to satin type finishes. So this wheel is very delicate on the surface. If you have gloss black finishes, that glossy black, it's better to use microfiber wash mitts and microfiber brushes. I'm also using this little detail brush to brush or to clean the brake calipers and the lug nuts. I'm going to fully rinse, and then to make sure we're having some protection to not only make cleanups a lot easier in the future, but also help drying the wheels quicker, we're going to apply a spray-on, rinse-off paint sealant that can be applied to wheels as well. In this case, it's going to be Geon Wet Coat. So again, you just take the bottle, shake it well before use, a couple of sprays go in the barrels as well, and you immediately rinse off, and you're going to get hydrophobic properties. Durability is roughly 1 to 3 months, depending on your conditions and the mileage that you do with your vehicle. But this helps prevent a bit of brake dust from sticking. The dirt and grime won't stick as much, and yeah, it just makes cleanups a lot easier. Now for the contact wash, we're going to be using CarPro D-Scale. I'm using 5 ounces of the product to roughly 4 gallons of water in the wash bucket. And I'm going to work from top to bottom. Notice that I don't address the fabric top because this is a convertible roof. We're going to do that later. So I don't use chemicals on that other than stuff that's needed to properly clean and address specifically the fibers or the upholstery, if you want, used for the roof. So anyhow, let's get back. CarPro D-Scale. What that does, it helps to remove water spots and mineral deposits. This car was full of them. I suspect that it was parked near a sprinkler or somewhere that had hard water issues. And yeah, if not addressed quickly, those water spots and mineral deposits can etch through the clear coat. The other advantage of CarPro D-Scale, it really helps to break down or to start the breaking down process of regular waxes and sealants that might be on the paint. Car dealerships usually always apply some cheap crap on there before delivery, so we want to remove that. And as you can tell, D-Scale has really helped to break that down. The water is slower to sheet off. There's almost no water beading left, and machine polishing later on is going to really take care of removing 100% of any of that crappy protection that's on there. Next, we're going to move on to the iron decontamination stage to remove brake dust and rail dust and all that kind of stuff, industrial fallout. We're using CarPro Iron X. I'm spraying directly on the wet vehicle that was rinsed. You can dry the vehicle and apply it on dry if you want. It doesn't really matter. So I spray it on, let it dwell for a few minutes. A quick pro tip, you can work the iron remover in with a soft microfiber wash mitt. So that's going to help spread the product. And the color change, you can see the bleeding on the floor because you don't see it on the body. It's a bit too dark, the paintwork. But all that purple tint is from the iron particles that are being flushed away. So now we're going to thoroughly rinse the vehicle. So it helps to remove embedded brake dust from your paintwork. Those are the rust spots, those orange specks that you see. Clay bar. You only clay a vehicle that needs it, so run your fingers on the paintwork, and if it feels rough to the touch, then you know it needs to be clayed because there's more embedded contaminants that need to be removed from the surface. In this case, I really felt that there were a few sections like the trunk lid here that had some contamination, probably from staying in the parking lot at the dealership before delivery or transport through train, truck, boat, all that kind of stuff. So I'm using the Rag Company Ultra Clay Scrubber. It is a synthetic clay material that will not mar the surface. I use that along with Geon Clay Lube, diluted 1 to 10. So always use a good lubricant. Some people like to use car shampoo as a lubricant, whatever you guys want. I just prefer dedicated clay lube. So up and down, left and right until the paint feels glass smooth. And again, if you use a traditional clay bar, those are abrasives, so it can mar the paint. Just keep in mind, after a normal clay, you'll have to machine polish the surface. In the case of a synthetic clay material like this clay scrubber or clay mitt, you can inspect your paint afterwards, and typically you don't really need to polish if not needed. But in this case, we're still going to polish the paint because I want to make sure it's more glossy, has more clarity, and that we fully strip away any previous protection for the ceramic coating that we're going to apply to bond better. I also always clay the glass or the windshield in this case. This removes embedded contamination because yes, if seen through a microscope, glass is porous and it does accumulate road grime, traffic film, and contamination, just like the clear coat on your paint. So here now we have a beautiful and clean glass. So now we're going to address the fabric top. I'm using the 303 tonneau cover and fabric top cleaner for convertible cars, along with the 303 fabric top brush. This really helps to lather all of that up. It's going to help to basically degrease, decontaminate, and kind of restore the OEM factory appearance. It's going to brighten up all that material, but still keep all of it breathable. It's not going to alter the appearance or look. It just rejuvenates it to an OEM appearance. Yeah, we're going to apply a fabric protectant later on to restore the hydrophobic properties and water repellency of the soft top itself. As you can see here, there's no water beading left. So to make cleanups a lot easier and to prevent staining from water that stays on there, we're going to protect it. So stay tuned for that towards the end. Next, I like to use my Ego 650 CF DFM blow dryer along with the Apex Air stubby nozzle. So it's a shorter nozzle, and the blower band, that green band on top, that prevents if you accidentally hit your vehicle, it's not going to scratch the paint because it's a rubber band. So using a blow dryer is so much quicker. In this case, it's a leaf blower, but that we use for car detailing because it's just that practical. It's cordless, battery powered, and yeah, you do a quick workaround around the vehicle. So look at the cracks and seams. This is what I was talking about. They had put a cheap wax on there, and there was this white crust all over the cracks and seams. Look at that, disgusting. They didn't do a good job at prepping the vehicle. Most car dealerships don't know what they're doing. It's very sad, even on expensive cars like this. Before doing machine polishing or paint correction, I wanted to measure the thickness of the paint I'm working with to also see if there were any damaged areas. So in this case, we're at roughly in the high 5s to low 6 mils, which is okay. Paints are getting thinner and thinner on modern vehicles. So yes, the clear coats are stronger and they're higher performance, but keep in mind they're getting shorter, they're getting thinner and thinner modern paints. So you want to preserve that as much as possible and not over polish. In this case, we're using Oberk Sol. So we're doing a one-step. The customer wasn't necessarily paying for paint correction, but I did want to go the extra mile in this case and increase the gloss, especially the clarity. And I needed to remove a few of the light swirls and scratches that were on there, because from the factory, they do some defects removal and there can be some holograms. It's poorly prepped at the dealership during poor washing and drying techniques there, and transport and so on and so forth. So there's always some defects even on brand new cars, guys. So the Oberk does a good job at that. It's perfect for high volume shops if you want to do it just a one step. It doesn't have any protection in it, which is perfect because we don't want protection before we apply a ceramic coating. So just as this is just a pure polish. We're using the Oberk yellow polishing pad as well. We buff that off with a microfiber towel, and I always like to inspect my work, in this case with a scan grip inspection light, and you can see, look at that metallic flake just pop now. All of the swirls and scratches were removed, and we have a lot of gloss. That's the best way to increase gloss on a vehicle, by the way, is through machine polishing or paint correction. Next, we're spraying the Duraslick panel prep. So this is basically an isopropyl alcohol solution to remove any leftover polishing residue and polishing oils, because we want to make sure the ceramic coating is going to bond to the surface properly. Talking about ceramic coating, we're using one of my current favorite professional grade ceramic coatings, the Duraslick Holy Grail coating, a professional grade coating that lasts up to 5 years if you maintain your car properly and it's in decent conditions. I have a full video on that if you want to go check it out. So yeah, Duraslick Holy Grail, shake the bottle well, apply a few drops on the applicator to prime it, and then in cross hatch pattern, up and down and left to right, you're going to apply it to every surface. Work section by section. So I work half the hood in this case. You're going to see there's no rainbow color change for this one. It's a hazing effect. So kind of like when you're applying a carnauba wax by hand and it starts to haze on the surface. As you can tell, it has that kind of chalky white appearance. That's your visual indicator that it's going to be time to start leveling the coating. We're not calling buffing, it's leveling to make sure you're spreading it out evenly. So with the first towel, so as you can see on the surface, you see that white chalky appearance. That's the hazing I'm talking about. So depending on the conditions you're working in, it's going to happen anywhere from 30 seconds to about a minute. So you're going to take your first microfiber towel to level the surface to make sure you get even coverage. This is the Rag Company Pearl Weave towels. And then I take a second clean and dry towel to do the final buff. So this is the Rag Company Eagle Edgeless 350 towels, a very light plush towel. Again, I always inspect my work to make sure I don't get any high spots. Those are those dark spots that you want to make sure you level correctly before it starts curing, because after that it's going to be a mess to want to remove once it hardens up. So you're going to do section by section. Again, usually you work in a 2x2 section. If you're unsure or don't have much experience, in this case, I can do a full panel. And I also work in a controlled environment. So time doesn't work against me. I have all the time I need. You can apply coatings outside. Just keep in mind, never work in direct sunlight. Always work in a shaded area on a cool surface for the best results. So apply the coating up and down, left and right. And again, first towel for leveling the coating, removing any excess. And then you take your second clean and dry plush towel for the final buffing. And we're going to see later on the final results. The clarity and gloss is just nuts, and it gives an awesome slickness on the surface as well. UV protection, chemical resistance, the whole 9 yards, protection against tree sap, bird droppings, you name it. Next, we're going to apply the 303 Fabric Guard. This is basically a repellent made for exterior fabrics, in this case, the fabric top. So we spray lightly on the surface, and you can take either a sponge or a terry towel or a microfiber towel, and you gently wipe basically up and down and left to right just to ensure good coverage. I usually recommend a second layer, as you see here, immediately after the first one, again, to make sure that you're covering every fiber. Don't oversaturate the surface. It's not necessary. And you're going to need 12 to 24 hours of curing before exposing the vehicle to water or rain. And anyways, we're going to have to wait a full 24 hours for the ceramic coating to fully cure before delivering it to the customer, and he can drive it and enjoy it in the rain after that, no problem. Keep in mind, when you apply ceramic coating, it's always recommended to wait 7 to 14 days before washing your car again. So always keep that in mind. And now we're cleaning the glass both inside and out with G-Technic Perfect Glass and a diamond weave glass towel. So glass towels are low napping. They don't lint as well, which is key to have crystal clear glass. So the windshield, all the glass, both inside and out, was taken care of. If you see a bit of filmy residue on the inside, you can use an APC for the interior windshield before using the glass cleaner. That's going to degrease the surface and prevent any future fogging from accumulating. For the tires, we apply the CarPro Dark Side Tire Sealant using the Adams Hex Pro Grip Tire Dressing Applicator. This is a long-lasting tire sealant, anywhere from 1 to 3 months, depending on your conditions. It gives it that nice sheen or gloss. And yeah, have a look at the final results, guys. I'm laughing because it is insane. We achieved, I think, visual bliss and perfection. You can shave yourself off the panels. Look at that gloss. Look at that clarity. The color pops a lot more now. You see that metal flake. It almost seems that it changed colors. That's what happens when you improve the surface with paint correction. You're allowing yourself to see what the manufacturer truly intended. Look at the reflection on those side panels. It is absolutely nuts. The customer was absolutely blown away when he saw the end results. I had told him, if you thought it looked good when you took delivery at the dealership, wait until you see it in person. We are in a completely different league, guys. This is a gorgeous car, and it deserved nothing but the best treatments, of course. Look at that reflection once again. We were able to remove all of those nasty swirl marks and scratches that were on there, any of those water spots that were on the vehicle as well. There were some deposits that if we had not addressed, they could have done some serious damage later on, because again, water spots can etch through the clear coat and potentially cause permanent staining or damage. So look at that. It was a gorgeous summer day outside. You can see my Porsche there, 911 Turbo S in the background, the two beasts that were next to each other. Funny enough, it's another green color from Aston Martin, and yeah, it suits those cars so well. What do you guys think? How do you think it looks? Drop a comment in the comment section. It just looks insane. For the interior, we did a full vacuum, of course. We applied a fabric guard on the carpets. And for the leather, we did a full clean. We applied a leather coating, a 1-year coating on the leather. All the dash and trim was clean, enhanced, and protected as well. Took care of the pedals to make sure they're fully clean. So it smells good. It looks awesome. It's going to be protected for many, many months. And of course, years to come as far as the paintwork is concerned, if the customer does proper maintenance. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. If so, drop a comment, let me know, smash the thumbs up button to show me your support. I'll leave the links to all the tools, products, and equipment in the description under the video for you guys to check those out. And in the meantime, don't forget, keep it tight, keep it clean, and I'll see you on the next one.